Okay, sorry, I was just checking the audio. Just remember the teaser trailer for Darksiders 4 came out today. Oh, cool. How was it? Was it exciting? Yeah, Point of Pride raid train today, so there should be about 20 people lurking in the stream once I get raided into in 30 minutes. Okay. Ooh, I almost forgot to go live on YouTube and on TikTok. Alright. People are speculating it'll be 4 players. Okay. Now I gotta monitor the stream on TikTok. It'll take place after the first game? That's pretty cool. Okay. Now I've got everything up. The first game ends on a cliffhanger? I see. So, today is the Point of Pride raid train. So I'll get raided into in 30 minutes. And then I'll raid out at 7 p.m. Now the first thing I'm gonna do is I started this 120 words per minute class a couple of days ago, but I never finished it. I stopped at the Q&A and before the test. Thirsty. So I'll be doing the 120 words per minute Q&A now. And of course, the commands are donate, exclamation point incentives, exclamation point pop for more information on Point of Pride, and exclamation point TRB for the rainbow beacon. All right. So first we're gonna do this 120 words per minute Q&A. Is that low enough? High enough? Hello, Sebnetic. Wait, which side is it starting with? Defense attorney, okay. I'm not ready. Hello.
forth. And do you create spreadsheets as you're doing that? They're just derivative of
Thank you for the sub.
spreadsheet, so they may be pared down to, like in this case, the April 15th through the 18th, but there's no, I don't create an original spreadsheet, no. And did you provide copies of those documents to the government? The call detail record? Objection, Your Honor. It's not clear what documents you mean. Well, you created documents that were essentially a summary of what you reviewed, the records you reviewed. Is that right? I utilized the records, the original call detail records.
Tick it off, Patrick. Just redeemed Yeehaw.
Thank you for the sub. And thank you for redeeming Yeehaw, Patrick.
Records, the original call detail records, and then I can filter it out or filter it down to the calls I'm interested in versus having the thousands of calls. I see. All right. And did you write any reports or memoranda regarding what you found? No, I mean I've emailed back and forth like the drafts and stuff like that for peer review or to the prosecutors. So when you say drafts for what? The presentation. Okay, and I asked to be provided with those. Ms. Conrad just complained that she had the draft of the presentation that we sent her. Okay, let me ask a different question. How many drafts did you prepare? I only sent one draft up to Al. I mean that's the draft. I mean that was the draft, and that draft became a final. And you said there were emails back and forth, right, to the person who is doing the peer review, asking them to do the peer review, as well as showing him that the draft was done and to contact me after he reviewed it. And was there any substance in those emails? No, it was all logistics. Okay, thank you. Alright, yes. Just while we have the jury out of the room after the witness, we have a brief witness who's going to describe the press conference and introduce some photos from the press conference that we agreed upon, and then we'll move to MIT. Okay, and there was a controversy about one of the pictures. Yes, Your Honor. Let me see the numbers. So I'm told they're 676, 677, and 678. Do you know which one it is, Your? The picture we object to is the graduation photo in which Officer Collier is backed by the flag, and they just think that's 77, 677, 677. I guess my question is, why do we need 3 photos? Well, Your Honor, having Chief Fava explain how Sean Collier was hired by MIT and his experience before he joined the MIT police force, we were asking him about what path Sean took, and one of them was that he attended the police academy. I asked him about what he see how it goes. I don't think the records themselves, the volume of records themselves should be admitted. So something else? Yes, while the jury is out of the room, it may surprise you. We're actually in agreement on the point I'm about to raise, and that concerns the autopsy photos of Officer Sean Collier. There are 3 photos that we intend to use. I don't think there's any objection to those 3 photos. What we would like to do, though, is not have those photos broadcast, that those photos just be shown to Your Honor and to the jury, to the witness, but not put on the big screens. Well, somebody, I don't know who, gave me a set of autopsy photos, a PowerPoint that was put together by Dr. Robinson. And if you look at the first photo of the head of Officer Collier, you will use that photo as you see the next photo of inside, and then a picture. I think we've had some discussion about autopsy photos in general, and I think the consensus is that they need not, because of the nature of them, they need not be displayed publicly beyond the jury out of respect for the victims and their families. I think perhaps the most feasible way would be the old-fashioned way and let the jury see paper copies. The electronics are a little more complex because of the way the system is configured. That's fine, Your Honor. Our lunch hour will make 18 copies or 19 copies, one for the court. Any disagreement with that? My disagreement is that the big screens can be unplugged, and it works that way.
Wow. I had a lot of difficulty with that. My hands are kind of shaking. Let me just stretch my hands real quick. Sometimes that helps. Okay, moving on to the next one.
Practice a little bit more. This is actually the same case, just a different point.
Hi, Cloth. How you doing? Oh, Patrick, you just beat the game? Congratulations. Are you gonna go back and get more collectibles, or are you done with the game, just period, and you'll move on to the next one? I'm live. How are y'all? I'm doing okay. Hi, Lydia. How you doing? I get rated in 14 minutes. Defense attorney, okay.
Now, did you, by any chance, review the extraction from Tamerlane's phone? It probably came into our area where we were working in the original investigation, so it's very possible that I saw it, but we didn't rely on it for any of our maps or anything. Okay, if I can just have the camera for the witness.
You're going to visit your aunt in a different state? Cool, cool, cool. You never played Darksiders 2, so you're really excited? That's awesome. And then you get to play Darksiders 3. And then you get to play the 4th one when it comes out. How exciting. Me okay, worn out from doing my shopping for the next week and a bit, as it's very hot out here again. And long walk it takes. At least you did your shopping. Good job. I almost said congratulations. Congratulations on doing your shopping. You'll take the congrats. You beat the new Warframe update already? Cool. Yeah, congratulations. Everyone, congratulations. Congrats, Melody, on the rug pull. Now you can build your Mars base. You know me, always doing a rug pull. Already got the parts for the new frame, you won't spoil? Okay. You forgot how gruesome the ending to Darksiders is? They're really gruesome? Wow. What kind of game is Darksiders? I actually haven't looked it up yet.
Patrick just redeemed yeehaw.
Okay, that's it for the Q&A. Now I get to do the test. Thank you for redeeming yeehaw. Associated. SGS. Wow, thank you for the raid. Are you here for the Point of Pride raid train? Hello, everybody. Sorry, raid. How's everyone doing today? It is currently 3:51 p.m. for me. Hello, raiders. I'm Melody Wisp. I'm a queer, neurodivergent, disabled Puerto Rican variety streamer. I usually play RPGs and visual novels, but on Thursdays, I like to do stenography practice because I'm planning on becoming a live captioner. Sending over to help with the raid train? Thank you for doing that. So today, for my part of the Point of Pride raid train, I'm doing stenography practice. Currently, I'm doing the test for the 120 words per minute class. I have incentives. You can donate $10, $20, $30, $40, $50 for rewards. The incentives are stenoing a complex word, stenoing to a video or a text that I'm given, adding something to my dictionary. Else? Oh, whoops. I do have to raid and run. Doggo needs walking, but hope you have an amazing stream. You'll be lurking. Thank you for the raid. and have a nice time running, walking your dog. Okay, I remember when the first Darksiders came out, got little ads of it in my old Xbox 360 game manuals from the time. It's like God of War mixed with Dark Souls. Oh, that sounds difficult. It's got the puzzles of God of War with the difficulty of Dark Souls. Oh, I see. Me playing Dark Souls 1, I'm not really good at open world games. I'm assuming Dark Souls is an open world game. I get really lost and very frustrated when I get lost. I don't think it's very fun to watch. Okay, we're starting with plaintiff.
Yes, sir. What time did you get there? May I refer to my report? Would that refresh your recollection? Yes, sir. I arrived at the location at 12:45 a.m. Please explain the job of a coroner investigator such as yourself at these scenes. We received the initial report and we talked to the reporting party. They
Ticket off Patrick just redeemed Yeehaw.
Thank you for redeeming Yeehaw.
Long the body had been there. Not an actual time. Okay, you said that lividity starts to set in upon death. Yes, sir. And it sets for 12 hours, then it releases for 12 hours. Then what happens after the next 12 hours? It sets for 12 hours, it remains set for 12 hours, and it releases for 12 hours. Just so I understand, were you speaking now lividity or rigor mortis? Okay, you indicated that the numbers on rigor usually 12, 12, 12, but part of that equation is temperature, is it not? That's correct. It's generally the rule of thumb. The hotter things are, the faster things go. That's correct.
Okay, that's it for the test. I get to move on. Okay, let me see. Let me open up 140 and 160. Okay, it is on 15 for class 15 for 160, class 26 for 140, and class 37 for 120. You actually kind of nervous about playing Darksiders too? What's up? I'm just waiting for the raid to come in before I tackle the 160 words per minute. I haven't done 160 in a while, so it's probably gonna feel even more difficult than usual. Coming in? Alright! Choo-choo! Oh, it has a different fighting style? Alright. You love flying potatoes?
Silver_and_Silly just traded with 17 viewers.
Hello, everyone! Welcome to the Point of Pride raid train for my slot. How are y'all doing today? Thank you, Silver on Sealy, for the raid. Hello, Hot Cocoa Burns, Kika Dragon, and Annie Pockets. How are y'all doing? I'm Melody Wisp. I'm an accessibility provider and variety streamer. I typically stream RPGs and visual novels, but on Thursdays, I like to stream stenography practice because I'm trying to become a live captioner, which takes a lot of practice. I'm currently on my 42nd week of stenography practice. It's a lot of hours because I practice around 3 hours every day. Hello, Newbie Live. Nice to see you. So for my slot, doing good. How are you? I'm doing pretty good too. For my slot, we're doing stenography practice. And it is very cool. I agree. I love stenography. I think it's awesome. And I have Steno themed incentives, which you can find with exclamation point incentives. For my incentives, for $10, I Steno a complex word of your choosing. For $20, I add something permanently to my dictionary, be it an emoji, a meme, or whatever. For $30, I read a monologue, part of a video, etc. in Steno that you sent to me. For $40, I Steno without looking at the output for 5 minutes, which can really screw with me. And for $50, I create a custom Steno GIF for you, which is you send me a text due, then I create a GIF out of it in stenography, and then I send it to you. So you would just have to give me an email or something to send it to. So I am doing the 160, 140, and 120 words per minute practices. 160 is way too fast for me. 140 is getting a little easier, and 120 is about my speed. I'm at about 100 to 120. Thank you for the lurk. I'm going to start with the one. I did part of the 120 just 30 minutes ago. I just finished the test. I did the Q&A and the test. I started it up a couple days ago and didn't finish it, so I decided to finish it today. So now I'm on the class number 37. And then for 160, it's class 15. And for 140, it's class 26. Thank you for the lurk, Hot Cocoa Burns. Gonna be doing the 160. It's really tough, so don't judge me too harshly. All right. Is she too low? Oh, wait. I don't have the browser up. Okay. I closed it so that I could get all my tabs up. Angle Tamers at 160.
Dolphin, safe, tuna. Continental, branches. Comprehensive, brochure.
Continental. I don't know how to write that one. Let me write it. Let me see. Continental. Continental. You would think that would be obvious. That's not that difficult to write. Let me look up unilaterally. Well. Oh, I could have written it correctly. Let's see. Unanimously. There. Unanimously. Industrial. Real. Zoology. one do I like better? I think I like that one better. The second one. And of course, there's continental. Names and credentials. Okay.
Ready? Here we go. Rhonda V. Jensen, RDR, CRR. Tanya Kaiser, RPR, CMRS. Shirley King, RPR, CLVS. Susan Kearney, RDR. Rick Levy, RPR. Leanne Lezak, RMR, CRR. Nancy McCarty, RPR. Karen Mink, RDR, CRR, CRC. Lisa Michaels, RPR. Caroline Miller, RPR. Patrice Morrison, RMR, CRR. Brianna Nesbitt, RPR. Robin Nodland, RDR, CRR. Julia Obian, RPR, CMRS.
I don't know what these credentials are.
Now, let's practice some medical
Hello, Adam.
pancreatic lobules, alkaline substances, lies, open fruit, benign or malignant, extract and eliminate, lobes or pyramids, wider and longer, cast or splint, massage and diathermy, figure of 8 bandage, upward and outward, pulled and turned,
Good luck with this. Hope you have a good time. Thank you.
body, pulled and turned, solid figure or body, normal position or place. Above infected area.
Okay, that's it for that. Massage.
Tickle off Patrick just redeemed you.
Thank you for redeeming Yeehaw. Lobule?
Let's try now some names.
Names and spellings. We just did names, though. Okay, that's it for those names.
Being all spruced up. The smell of the sea. Doing something that will put a smile on your face. Going to 3 movies in one day. Dijon mustard and freshly ground pepper to add spice to life. Bake shops. Baked beans and food fries for breakfast. Would-be artists. Milk money. Cold hands. Jumping over the widest
Okay, that's after that. Move on to the jury charge and literary. Jury charge is judge's instructions to the jury. Good number practice. This is gonna be tough.
that the descriptions of the lands over which said proposed drainage ditch will pass are as follows. Northwest 1/4 of section 3, township 111, north range 41 west. Northeast 1/4 of section 3, township 111, north range 41 west. Southeast 1/4 of section 34, township 112 north, range 41 west. Southwest 1/4 of section 35, township 112 north, range 41 west. Southeast 1/4 of section 35, township 112 north, range 41 west. Southwest 1/4 of section 3, township 111 north, range 41 west. Northwest 1/4 of section 10, township 111 north, range 41 west. Southwest 1/4 of section 10, township 111 north, range 41 west. Northeast 1/4 of section 9, township 111 north, range 41 west. That your petitioners are a majority of the resident landowners or the owners of at least 51% of the area of the land herein before described. That your petitioners will pay all costs and expenses which may incur in these proceedings shall be incurred, or for any reason no contract for the construction thereof is kept. Therefore your petitioners pray that all proceedings necessary according to law to establish and construct said drainage system be taken pursuant to the statute in such case made and provided.
I could barely process what she was saying. Nope. I was not able to hang in there. Absolutely not. Interpretation of a state law. Alright. I know how to write interpretation.
Discharged from the suit, that this was essentially a suit against the United States, which had not consented to be sued, that the United States was an indispensable party, and that no cause of action had been stated. The state trial court found that a cause of action had been stated, and it overruled the exceptions. At this point, the United States, joining petitioner and other interested parties as defendants, brought the present suit in the district court to quiet title mineral rights. It also sought a preliminary injunction to restrain petitioner from prosecuting its action in the state court. The United States based its claim of ownership on the provision in 1938 from petitioner's predecessor in title that the reservation of mineral rights would expire on April 1, 1954, subject to certain conditions not material to this case. The United States claimed that irreparable injury in the form of loss of royalties would result from any temporary wrongful dispossession of its residence by the state court proceedings. Affidavits were also submitted in support of the claim that permanent loss of wells currently producing oil would probably result from any temporary cessation of production. The petitioner moved to dismiss the complaint of the United States on the ground that the state court had already assumed jurisdiction over the property in question. In the alternative, petitioner moved to stay the federal proceedings pending determination of the state court action because questions of state law were involved. The district court held that since the United States was not a party to the state court suit, the title of the United States could be tried only in the federal court action, and that an injunction against prosecution of the state proceedings should issue to protect its jurisdiction pending determination of the ownership of the property. Section 2283 provides that a court of the United States may not grant an injunction to stay proceedings in a state court except as expressly authorized by act of Congress or where necessary in aid of its jurisdiction or to protect or effectuate its judgments. Rest for a moment.
16 more minutes.
Let's look at some of the words we had in this one. We had petitioner,
Petitioner.
practice,
Okay, Patrick.
On how to network when you aren't a people person. Let's see what else.
Some good advice here, probably.
Ready? When crowds aren't your thing. I agree. They're not my thing either. Don't room with anyone. I rarely room with anyone to whom I'm not married. Not because I don't like my colleagues, I just need some quiet every day and in large doses. Do attend the receptions, but let yourself skip out when it feels time. When you think I'm such a newbie, we all were students and new reporters at one time. I wish I could have come to all these conventions when I was a new reporter, and I wish I read this article at the time. But since I don't have a TARDIS, I'll let the students and newbies work. I wish I had known then. Observe and see who seems to be in charge, who seems to have their act together, looks and seems easy, who embodies the love for this profession. Introduce yourself to them in this manner I described a few paragraphs above. If you're feeling pretty bold, ask them to introduce you around. These are people who want this profession to succeed, and by extension want you to succeed. Don't hang around anyone who spends more than 50% of his or her time complaining. If you have to get up and switch seats, do so. I'm serious. Yes, they are loved by God and they are human beings deserving of dignity and compassion, but they are toxic. You're here to be cleaned up, not dragged down. Needless to say, don't be a complainer yourself. Be the people in charge of putting the convention or conference together. If you've never been involved in the planning of one of these things, you have no idea of the challenges therein. Lift others up, and you find yourself lifted up as well. This is not being a Pollyanna pie in the sky. It's fact. If you have serious problems about something, speak to someone who can do something about it, and or volunteer to do something about it yourself. Sounds like I'm on a soapbox. I am. In conclusion, if you're feeling a bit of social anxiety, it's not just you, or at least I hope it's not just me.
I cannot wait to get back down to 140 and 120. My back hurts. I'm sitting up straight. I don't know why my back hurts.
It must first be decided whether this section applied to stays sought by the United States, because different answers to this question will put different aspects on other issues in the case. There can be no doubt of the right of the United States to enjoin state court proceedings whenever the prerequisites for relief by way of injunction be present. In United States versus United Mine Workers, the court did not rely entirely on the rule of construction because its reading of the act as a whole and the legislative history supported the conclusion that the United States was not to be included. In this case, there is no legislative material to support or to gainsay the applicability of the rule of construction. There is, however, a persuasive reason why the federal court's power to stay court proceedings might have been restricted when a private party was seeking the stay, but not when the United States was seeking similar relief. The statute is designed to prevent conflict between federal and state courts. This policy is much more compelling when it is statute seems to us preferable in the context of healthy federal-state relations. The government contends that Act Number 315 of 1940 does not apply when the parties themselves have contracted for a reservation of specific duration, and that if the statute is construed to apply to this situation, it would impair the obligation of the government's contract. Petitioner contests these contentions. The Supreme Court of Louisiana has never considered the specific issue or even discussed generally the rationale of the statute, especially with reference to problems of constitutionality.
That was difficult. It was also a lot longer than it appears.
The subject is the lesson behind your processing. This is written by Melody Wisp. She is a certified reporting instructor. She wrote this for the JCR. The lesson behind your processing. Here we go. Years ago, I wrote about shifting a student's thoughts about processing. The student went on to become a court reporter, and I wrote about her path again a few years later. Over the years, I have been contacted by students, reporters, and instructors to expand on the topic with my tutoring and coaching. The sentence originated when I was teaching evening classes in the late 1980s. My students asked why they were not progressing in speed classes while putting in the hours, while enrolled in academics, while working full-time, and while arriving after a long day for a 4-hour evening. I saw their frustration as their expectations were not met. Students often flew through one speed to then sit in another. They were challenged by speed building, by typing up tests, by academics, and by nightly dictation. My parents, both degreed instructors, always asked about my students. My father particularly enjoyed helping me with these challenges. He listened as a guidance counselor, social worker, and father. My students work so hard. Sometimes I think they're working too hard. They become frustrated. Sometimes I think their frustration is part venting to progress, I said one weekend. Mr. Emmett, as my father was known to the reporting industry, replied, "The mind is like a sponge. The human mind has to take time to absorb the information. Tell your students that when they put a sponge into a glass filled with water, the sponge first absorbs the water. This is a process." They came into the court reporting program with an empty slate, learned new skills, and learned thousands of new words with Steno language. Now their brain, like that sponge in the glass with water, has to take time for the new information to be absorbed. If time is not taken for the absorption or the process is interrupted, there is an overflow of water or a problem. I saw this when you were a student. You phoned from your dorm room, upset and frustrated. I listened, encouraged you to go back to work, and told you that it would come to you. Continued. Your students are learning a new language and new skills. When they fully process the information, they will progress. And it happens when a person least expects it. Yet the work has to be put in, has to with court reporting skills.
Speed building is hard. I make typos like every single time. Okay, we're doing more jury charge.
Declaratory of prior Louisiana law? What are the problems that it was designed to meet? The answers to these questions are or may be relevant. Before attempting to answer them and to decide their relation to the issues in the case, we think it advisable to have an interpretation, if possible, of the state statute by the Louisiana Supreme Court, which is the only court that can interpret the statute with finality. The Louisiana Declaratory Judgment Procedure appears available to secure such an interpretation, and the United States, of course, may appear to urge its interpretation of the statute. It need hardly be added that the state courts in such proceeding can decide definitively only questions of state law that are not subject to overriding federal law. We therefore modify the judgment of the Court of Appeals to permit an interpretation of the state statute to be sought with every expedition in the state court in conformity with this agreement.
Modify moif. For some reason, I keep getting interpretation. I thought I knew how to write that. Or
And the subject of this jury charge is recovery attempt by error.
oh my god, I forgot how to write particular. Was no E. Estate. Could be a state. Okay, let me go to the Q&A now.
don't have any other broken teeth by any chance, do you? No, I don't. So then actually, would it be a fair statement to say that you really only saw Dr. Crow one time in connection with the tooth? I think I saw him a few times. I don't know. I would have to look at the bills. Now, with regard to any other injuries that you received in the accident, what other present complaints do you have that you relate to those injuries? Nothing outside of the ankle and the knee. I guess that is about the extent of it. Okay, your main treating doctor was Samuel N. Jones, is that right? Yes. When did you last see Dr. Jones for treatment or examination relating to the injuries that you received in the accident of July 4? Golly, in your answer to interrogatories, you indicated that it was in the month of April. Would that in any way refresh your recollection? That is pretty close. It would be about 2.5 years ago. When is the last occasion that you had any actual treatment for your knee or your ankle? I have had no special treatment from any doctor since the last time that I visited Dr. Jones. He said swimming was good for it, and I have done some of that. Have you done anything on your own since that April? Do you mean under the doctor's care or what he suggested to do? Certainly, swimming or exercise. I like to play golf, but I can just barely make 9 holes before my leg gives out.
What age is recommended for this stream? 13 plus.
Alright, I hope your fingers are moving, feeling warmed up.
Ad break is about to start. I need to get some more water. I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. I don't want to do for a voice at 160.
Alright, we will start with the plaintiff. Ready? So effectively, there's one financial statement for the Ryder North family of companies. Yes, questions? Sure. Given the size of the stickers, it's going to be impossible for me not to cover stuff up. So what I put in front of you is Deposition Exhibit 6, and I'll just try to characterize it and see if you agree with me about this. This looks to be some sort of transaction document concerning a transaction between Ryder North Limited as seller and Sears Roebuck and Company as buyer. Is that yes. Exactly what kind of gazebo that is? No. Or whether there's a gazebo of the type that's at issue in this case? I can't, not based on this. Direct your attention to the last page in 760543. Let me know when you're done, okay? It lists the destination address in Vernon, California. Is that a fair statement? Yes. So we can conclude based on that and the totality of Deposition Exhibit 6 that Ryder North Limited shipped the goods described in this deposition exhibit to Sears Roebuck in Vernon, California. Let me just get to my question. Would you conclude based on the deposition exhibit 6 that the goods described in were shipped by Ryder North Limited to Sears Roebuck and Company in California? Object to the form of the question. Based on reading this, it doesn't look like this is actually a document that shows what was shipped. Why would you say that? On page 2, so this says the reference period in 76054. Yes, looks like this is just the order very possible in the real estate. Contract advice to customers, instructions, 14 days prior to applicable closing date. Seller shall confirm in writing the closing date of the order in accordance under this order. I'm sorry, in accordance with this order. Let me just interrupt you briefly and interject that part. Go right ahead. So I can direct you on that same page that you were just looking at, 007063. There are two subparagraphs under what you were just reading, A and B, and then there's a further subparagraph, little I. Do you see where I am? Yes. It reads, require seller to deliver the merchandise by air freight, and then it goes on. Do you see where I am? Yes. Would you conclude that based on that the products described in Deposition Exhibit 6 that were sold by Ryder North Limited to Sears Roebuck and Company were delivered to or through California? Based on this, I can't tell if they were actually delivered at all, but accordingly the directions say that it should come into or go through California. Okay, and the reason why you can't say that is because this isn't a final signed invoice from Ryder North Limited. Is that fair? Yes. So this would be a transaction document that was generated earlier in the transaction process. Is that a fair statement? Yes. I take it sitting here today, you have no reason to believe that this order was not purchase order issued by Writer North LLC. Is that fair? Yes. And this was issued at a time. Can you please describe to me what Writer North LLC is? Given the address, it's Writer North, would be Writer North US LLC, Writer North Limited Liability Company. Okay, so this is not a predecessor to Writer North US. The US was just left out of the name of the company on this purchase order. Is that fair? Yes. And this was issued while Writer North US was located in Paso Robles, California. Is that fair? That's fair. And below the area we were just looking at, there is some vendor information, and the vendor is listed as Writer North China. Is that fair? Yes. So let me just try to cut to the chase here and see if you can agree with this general statement. Is deposition exhibit 7, let me back up. Is deposition exhibit 7 a purchase order issued by Writer North LLC to Writer North China? Yes. So Writer North China is satisfied with Writer North US. Is that fair based on this deposition exhibit 7? And presumably should be, well, let me correct that. It would appear that the vehicle was shipped to a Writer North facility in Arkansas. Is that fair? That's correct. And can you read what the products are? I'll admit I don't think I can. It's 10 straight leg, something gazebo. And then there's the word gazebo somewhere in there. It looks like it. Okay. This one's not as bad, thankfully. This is 9 now? Yes. Yeah, 8 and 9. Okay, so I've just put before you deposition exhibits 8 and 9, and again I'm going to generally characterize and see if you can agree with me about the general statement. Deposition exhibits 8 and 9 appear to be purchase orders issued by Writer North US to Writer North China Limited for certain products described in each. Is that fair? For certain products described in deposition exhibits 8 and 9? Yes. So again, it appears based on these purchase orders that Writer North US is purchasing products from Writer North China. Is that fair? Yes. And on deposition 8, is it fair to say that the products that are being sold are products that are at issue in this case? Can't tell exactly from this. It appears to be, but the descriptions don't match. Item descriptions. Oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't asking you to compare 8 and 9. Let's just focus on deposition exhibit 8 for now. Would it be fair to say that the products sold or described in deposition exhibit 8 are products that are at issue in this case? It's hard to tell based on this document who may give some shelter that is not tied to the products in this case.
That was way too tough. Okay, I'm doing the test now. It's even tougher because it's so boring.
different. How are they different? They come on more often. They were more. It lasted longer. Now the stomach symptoms, did they eventually go away? No. You still experience, yes, the same type of symptoms and severity? Yes. What do you experience when you get these symptoms? I get stomach aches, diarrhea, throwing up. And the difference being that these symptoms last longer, is that correct? They last longer and they're more painful. Okay, how long do they last when you have them? I have them more often now. How often? I'm on medication. I have to take it every day. Is that the medication Dr. Weston prescribed? Yes. And you mentioned one of the symptoms besides diarrhea was throwing up. How often do you throw up? I couldn't really tell you how often. It just, whenever I need to throw up, I just throw up. Give me an estimate any given week. I couldn't say. It depends on. So are there weeks when you don't throw up? No. Are there weeks when you don't have diarrhea? No. It's constant. So you have diarrhea every day? Remember to use words. Yes. How often do you throw up? It varies. So you have diarrhea every day, but the throwing up varies. It just when I feel like I need to throw up, then I throw up. Okay, how many times a day do you have diarrhea? Like, I can't.
I don't know how to write diarrhea. 2 hours.
Put a number on it. It's just maybe 2 to 3 times a day, depending on when I eat. Do you know the medication the names of the medication that they gave you for that? No, I just take it. And does it help with your diarrhea? Yes. So if it helps, you still have diarrhea 2 to 3 times a day. It depends on, that's why I say it depends on. The medication helps me, but sometimes it will be, that's all I need and it goes away, and sometimes it still develops. Well, would it be your testimony that you have diarrhea 2 to 3 times a day, even with the medication? It's not a set thing, it's just however that day goes. Okay, so sometimes you might not have it, diarrhea, is that correct? Lately, no, it's almost every day that I have it, 2 to 3 times or less. I couldn't give you a number. Okay, throwing up, how often? You say it varies. Can you give me an estimate as to how many times you throw up in a given day? It depends on the symptoms. An estimate, I couldn't say. And the medication that you take, is that to control the throwing up as well? If you know, I don't know. So you don't know. You told the doctor about your throwing up? Yes, I have. And did he give you anything for it to control that? He didn't say exactly this is for the throwing up. He just gave me medication. Okay, is it a separate medication from the diarrhea or is it the same? I don't know. He gave me 2 different types of medication. I don't know which is which. You don't have any on that, on you, any of those medications? Yes, I do. Okay, great. You can show it to me. Okay, I'll just hand these over to you. Thank you. Okay, I've been handed one medication, diclomine, diclomine, 10 milligrams prescribed by Dr. Weston. It looks like it was provided by Image Express Pharmacy in Monrovia. Okay, this green pill, which is diclomine, what do you take that for? I don't know. How often do you take it? The green one, that one. One of them is 3 times a day. Okay, it says 3 times a day, 3 times a day, and you take this regularly? But you don't know what it's for? Okay.
You should definitely learn what your medications. Probably ask questions, doctor too. But they're in so much pain and agony. Like I can't say that I wouldn't also forget, be confused. Test is over. Well, I just moved on from the 160. Thank God. I forgot I was doing 160 too. Thinking the entire time, damn, this is so tough. Okay, we're moving on to 140.
Welcome to drill practice. Let's get started with some tangle tamers. And these are just miscellaneous. Could be medical, could be legal. Just some tangle tamers to get your fingers warmed up. Ready? Here we go. Unfurled banners. Occupied territories. Acknowledged protesters. Going underground. River contamination. Musical entertainment. Immigrants involved. University scholarship. Practical demonstration. Sidewalk loudspeakers. Investment scheme. Working overtime. Delegates briefing. Floating vessel. Frightening thunderstorm. Investigated complaints. Recent benefit. Promptly corrected. Immigration policy. Powerful aftershock. Government announced. Variety of clusters. Domestic supply. Higher percentage. Weather conditions. Ceasefire unheeded. Grinning broadly. Unidentified woman. Fantastic celebration. Fatal shootings. Sanctions working. Orchestra performance. Forecast dismal. Voluntary action. Disturbing neighbors. Local newspaper.
Okay, got done with those tangle tamers.
Now let's try some numbers.
I don't want to do numbers. No.
799.
See, if I had done numbers, we would have been sat here for 3 minutes. 3 to 4 minutes while she went 1, 55, 67, 285. Oh, not this, too. I'm skipping this. Okay. Skip that. Got 3 minutes left now. Okay, names and spellings. I'll do this. Even though none of these names are in my dictionary.
Hazy, Hazy, Nicole Candelino Easton, EASTON.
Near the vehicles outside in the recording.
And that will conclude our.
Okay, I'm moving on to the jury charge and literary now. Should be a lot easier at 140.
Welcome to literary and jury charge practice. Let's get started with some jury charge practice. Ready? It is claimed by the plaintiff that this assault was willfully and maliciously made. If you find from the evidence that the assault was in fact willfully and maliciously made, then you may find a further sum of damages in favor of the plaintiff, which the law calls exemplary or punitive damages. The jury is not required to find exemplary or punitive damages in any case, but they may, in their discretion, do so if they find that the assault was maliciously made. An injury is regarded as malicious when it is done with malice in the mind of the person who does it, with ill will and wrongful feelings toward that person, that is, an intent or purpose to do that person an injury. By exemplary damages is meant damages which are intended to serve as an example to others and to deter and prevent others from committing similar acts. Such damages are also called punitive damages because they serve as a punishment to the party who committed the assault and battery. As stated before, the burden of proof rests upon the plaintiff to prove by the greater weight of the evidence that the defendant did wrongfully assault and beat the plaintiff as claimed by the plaintiff. If you find from the evidence by the greater weight thereof that the defendant did so assault and strike the plaintiff, then you will find a verdict in favor of the plaintiff for such amount as willfully and fairly compensated him for the injuries directly flowing from the alleged assault, and for all damages proximately caused by defendant's wrongful acts, that is, all consequences of the injury, future as well as past, including mental suffering, indignity, disgrace, and mortification arising out of said assault, and including also pain and suffering, all expenses incurred, such as doctor bills, hospital bills, diminished capacity for work and loss of time from work, and all other damages which are the direct proximate result of such wrongful assault. To the actual damages so found, you have the right to add such exemplary or punitive damages as you may deem just and reasonable. If you find that the plaintiff did use abusive and provocative language toward.
TikTok just took down my stream for inactivity. Gotta go live again. Weird. I don't know how to prevent that from happening. Anyway,
The defendant
exemplary.
then you have the right to consider that, in mitigation of exemplary damages,
Okay. Compensate? Does that have a brief? No. It's compsate. We're doing literary practice now.
This is an article called The Impact Mentoring Can Have on Report Reporting Students. As a current student, I have had the good fortune of being mentored by numerous court reporters, from officials working for the Superior Court to freelancers working for reporting firms. I have found the advice and positive reinforcement to be the most beneficial aspects of interning, given the competitive nature of court reporting. This profession has its perks, but it also has high expectations. Attaining a 95% on the Registered Professional Reporter exam and a 97.5% on the Certified Shorthand Reporter exam is a difficult and daunting task, so it helps to be surrounded by individuals who encourage you to look on the bright side. During my internship, I was privileged enough to shadow many seasoned officials, each of whom had gone out of their way to give me as much advice, knowledge, and positive reinforcement as possible. I was taught various software applications, including how to distinguish between multiple speakers, as well as different software commands. We discussed different ways to stay organized and how to report during a jury selection. Many officials would spend their breaks advising me and would even take me back to their offices to meet other reporters and judges. I felt as though every court reporter I shadowed was taking me under her wing, and each of them had great advice and pieces of knowledge for me. I was so surprised by their willingness to help. I was so appreciative. It wasn't until then that I realized how important it is to have a mentor and to be among those who have gone through this process and have come out of it and achieved success. One official told me that the hardest part about being a student is that there are times when you become so discouraged and stressed that your negative thoughts often cloud your mind and affect your performance. She assured me that I was doing very well and told me the best thing to do is to stop worrying, continue to do my work, and stick with my schedule. I think of that piece of advice daily as I try to limit my stress and frustration.
Encourage. Hello, Disgrace.
We'll finish that up.
Okay, it's encourage. I need to just remember.
Let's get back to some jury charge.
More jury charge.
This jury charge, the subject of this jury charge is an interrogatory.
Interrogatory. That's trig, right? Trig? Oh. Interrogatory. Trog. It's trog. The YouTube video is really soft. Yeah, I have it set pretty low. Because I'm trying to make it so that it doesn't overpower my voice. I'll fix them. Put it at 1.
Please take notice that.
Oh, that's really loud now. I'll just put the video up on OBS instead of on the browser because I put it to one additional and it like hurt my ears immediately.
Defendant Kenneth Anderson requires that Earl
Oh, that was really loud.
Nixon additionally.
That was really loud.
Please take notice that defendant Kenneth Anderson requires that Earl Nixon, additional defendant on counterclaim, answer under oath the following interrogatories within 15 days from the date of service hereof, pursuant to Rule 33. 1. On what date was the Badger Trencher Model 303 delivered to you by defendant Kenneth Anderson? 2. When said machine was delivered to you, was it in good repair? 3. If the answer to number 2 is negative, list what repairs were necessary to place said machine in good repair. 4. If the repairs referred to in number 3 were made, list each part or item of material put on said machine, from where purchased, the cost of each item, to whom payment was made, the date of each payment, and the date each item was put on said machine. 5. If the repairs referred to in number 3 were made, list the total number of hours of labor performed on said machine, by whom the labor was performed, the amount paid, therefore, to each person so working, the dates each person worked, and the dates payment was made. 6. If the repairs referred to in number 3 were made, and if you personally worked thereon, list the dates you so worked and the number of hours each date, the nature of the work done on each date, and the agreed or reasonable value of such labor. 7. Were any repairs or improvements made on said machine subsequent to those referred to in number 3, number 4, number 5, and number 6? 8. If the answer to number 7 is in the affirmative, list each item of material or part put on said machine, from where purchased, the cost of each item, to whom payment was made, the date of each payment, and the date each item was put on said machine. 9. If the answer to number 7 is in the affirmative, list the total number of hours of labor performed on said machine, by whom the labor was performed, the amount paid, therefore, to each person so working, the dates each person worked, and the dates payment was made. 10. If the answer to number 7 is in the affirmative, and if you personally worked thereon, list the dates you so worked and the number of hours each date, the nature of the work done on each date, and the agreed or reasonable value of such labor. If the answer to number 7 is in the affirmative, were such repairs or improvements made at the request of defendant Kenneth Anderson? Let's get back to some literary material. many of the freelancers who I have met have been just as supportive and encouraging. A friend of mine who works for a reporting firm is always there for me when I have a question or a concern. If I text her a brief question, she will respond with a lengthy message or a long phone conversation, and she is always able to give me very beneficial information. She suggests helpful books to purchase, and she stresses the importance of speed building. Not only that, but she is always telling me to stay positive because I am so close to becoming a court reporter, and she reminds me to work very hard and stay persistent. My court reporting instructor has been great at addressing my areas of strength and weakness in a way that is both constructive and encouraging. In fact, her critiques often help my stress because they give me the opportunity to focus on very specific areas that need more attention. I know that she will always provide me with information that will allow me to make necessary changes. A discussion with her fills me with such relief as she reminds me of all the strides that I have made in my speed building. In particular, my aunt, who is a freelance reporter, has been a wonderful mentor to me. She has given me so many of her briefs and textbooks that once helped her as a student. She never hesitates to take the time out of her busy schedule to meet with me and see how I am progressing in my work. When my writer suddenly needed to be repaired, she lent me her student writer in a moment's notice. She is always giving me great advice in regard to which reporting firms to work for, when to intern, and how to make better use of my practice time. Not only that, but she has been very open about her past experiences as a student and has not been shy about telling me how difficult and discouraging being a court reporting student can be. She has told me that many students worry about the length of time it will take them to finish school, and many think about whether or not it will all be worth it. She assures me that these are all normal feelings to have, and that with time all the hard work will surely pay off. For a student to hear that is a huge relief. It is great to know that many reporters have felt discouraged at one time or another, but they were ultimately able to achieve their goals and are very happy in this respected profession. Knowing that these successful men and women have gone through what I am currently enduring really puts me at ease. I feel lucky to have had such amazing experiences with these reporters. I believe that every student needs to have a reporter or reporters who can mentor and guide them. It can really change your outlook and push you to achieve.
Huh. I thought I was writing it correctly, but no. I had an O in there. I don't need an O for discourage or encourage.
Back to some jury charge practice. Ready?
Okay.
If the answer to...
It's fun how some of the things she reads are about steno jobs. Yes, it is very fun. Very helpful too to hear from reporters and stuff about the job and feeling discouraged during speed building and stuff, because I feel discouraged every day during speed building because it doesn't feel like I'm getting there. I'm gonna get over 100/120.
Number 11 is in... Ready? If the answer to number 11 is in the affirmative, how was such request transmitted to you by defendant Kenneth Anderson? If the answer to number 7 is in the affirmative, were such repairs or improvements made with the knowledge and express consent of defendant Kenneth Anderson? 14. If the answer to number 13 is in the affirmative, how was said consent transmitted to you by defendant Kenneth Anderson? 15. State the use made of said machine by you or under your direction and consent. 16. State the total gross receipts received by you from use of said machine since date of purchase. 17. State total expenses attributed to the jobs on which you said machine was used. 18. State the total gross profits earned by you from said machine. 19. List the payments made by you to defendant Kenneth Anderson as his share of the gross profits from the use of said machine. 20. State what evidence you have that defendant Kenneth Anderson received each of the payments referred to in number 19. 21. Have you ever been convicted of a crime? 22. If the answer to number 21 is in the affirmative, list the date and court of conviction together with the crime of which you were convicted. 23. Is Gertrude Nixon, the plaintiff, your wife? 24. State the total, complete, and exact consideration given or delivered to you by plaintiff Gertrude Nixon for the assignment of your alleged claim against defendant Kenneth Anderson.
Okay, almost done with the jury charge and literary.
Actually about camping. The title is The Clan of the Canvas. A group of families builds generational bonds through camping. Ready? For each trip, we planned at least one group hike and one group excursion, rafting on the Kern River, banana boating on Bass Lake, horseback riding at Mammoth Lakes, to name a few. Each provided a thrill, made more fun because it was experienced with like-minded adventurers. Just as meaningful was downtime at the campsite. Away from schedules and cell phones, we discovered or rediscovered simple pleasures. Skipping rocks, climbing trees, digging holes in the sand, playing cards, naps, and in the evenings we gathered around the campfire for singing, stories, skits, and s'mores.
Okay, moving on to Q&A.
Welcome to Q&A practice. Let's get started with the defense attorney. Ready? How about your hip? No better when you were lying down than when you were standing up. Is that correct? Right. Let's get back to December 11. That would be your second visit to the doctor's office. Did you arrive about the same time as you did on December 7? They were always morning appointments. Did you see the doctor on December 11? No. When you went in on December 11, did you report to some nurse? Yes. What did she tell you with regard to what treatment would be rendered that day? She didn't tell me anything. I was to go sit down in the waiting room, which I did. Then what happened? Then they called me, and I believe it was Mrs. Mason that called me. Is Mrs. Mason a doctor? No, a nurse. Then what happened? They put me in a room and gave me therapy. Would you describe the therapy for me? Well, it was some sort of a lamp treatment. Heat lamp? I don't know if it's a heat lamp or an ultraviolet lamp. She would snap it on, and in a couple of minutes it went off, and she would leave me in the room and come back with the buzzer went off. Did you have any particular sensation in any part of your body from this lamp? Did it feel like heat? Yes. Where was the heat lamp positioned? With regard to your body, was it positioned over your hip, ribs? Your ribs? Yes.
Okay, looks like we're doing that.
Hopefully you feel a little warmed up, and now let's do some voice practice. Start with the plaintiff.
Plaintiff.
Ready? All right, and did she charge you anything for this? No. What about Ron? Was Ron here this night? Yes. And what kind of contact did you have with him on this occasion? Not too much. Okay. How about Cindy? Did she have any contact with Ron? Yes, she did. Okay, what happened? What did you see in that regard? When I was initially having conversation with Cindy, I informed her that I was looking for some more drugs. She told me she didn't know anyone in there at the time, so the conversation kind of just ended. Okay, all right. How clear is your recollection of this event of October 6th? Fairly clear. Okay, so were you able to purchase any suspected controlled substance on this October 6th? Yes. How did that come about? I initially told Cindy I was looking for some drugs, and I gave her $20. Eventually later, Ron came into the premises, and Cindy went over and had a conversation with him. When she talked with Ron, where was Ron? Ron was sitting at a table somewhat near the pool table. Okay, so after you had asked Cindy if that you wanted to make a purchase, is that right? Yes. How long was it before Ron appears on the scene? Approximately 15 minutes. Okay, and when you noticed that Ron now is on the scene, did Cindy go directly over to him? Yes. Had you pointed out that Ron was now here? No. So Cindy goes over. what do you see Cindy do with respect to Ron? She has a conversation with Ron. I then saw her hand him a $20 bill, and she handed a plastic Ziploc bag to her. When Cindy went to go talk with Ron, was there a $20 bill somewhere in your vicinity? Yes. Where is it? It was on the fixed bar. And had you put it there? Yes. All right. Was it there on the counter? Did Cindy pick that up when she went to go talk with Reuben? Yes. So she took your 20 with her? Yes. All right. She has the talk. She comes back. When she comes back, what happens? She hands me a small plastic Ziploc bag containing a white powdery substance. And when she gives that to you, are you inside the premises or outside? Inside. And after she gave that to you, did you remain inside the premises or kind of what happened? Yes. At that point, did Cindy resume her duties as bartender? Yes, she did. And again, did you have that item lab tested? Yes. And did it come back from that lab, from the sheriff's lab, at 0.43 grams? Yes. So stipulated, Mr. West? Yes, that's fine. Sorry, 0.43 grams of cocaine, right? Yes. All right, and we're closing in here to some of your final visits. I understand one of your next to the last visit was on or about this May 21st. Yes. And again, for the parties, this should be counts 23 and 24. And again, you're returning with Mr. West, your partner. Yes. And again, you were able to make a purchase from a bartender of beer. Yes. And on this occasion, the bartender is Cindy Reed. All right. So do you have any discussions with Cindy? Yes, I did. And now, how did those go? I'd have to refer.
Okay, we're going into an ad break. 3 minutes left. My live got restricted on TikTok again. I'm the only person doing Steno prep. I don't know how this is unoriginal or reproduced content. It's completely original. TikToker haters? Yeah. Two minutes left. My back doesn't quite hurt, but I do feel uncomfortable. Got an hour and 14 minutes left. And then I raid out. Tomorrow I play Rido Remastered. So that's gonna be fun. One minute left. Oh, okay, almost over.
To my report for the exact conversation. Okay, why don't you go ahead and do that if you would, and I'll direct your attention to page 15 of your report. Okay. All right, so Ms. Reed, Cindy is there working, yes,
Hello.
as bartender. How about Ron? Is he there? Not at that time. Okay, does he arrive? Does he ever arrive there later? Yes, he does. So we'll start with respect to Cindy. How does your conversation with her begin? We had initial conversation and I asked her if she had any pills. Okay, did you specify a kind or just basically said like the ones she gave me last time? Oh, all right. And how did she respond to that question? She informed me that yes, she did. And what did she do? Your Honor, I think I made a mistake on the last visit thinking that she gave me the pill, and it was actually this visit as I refreshed my memory from the report. So she did not give you a pill that time. She did not give me a pill on, was it the 6th? And it was actually this day. Okay, all right. So on this May 21st, there's some discussion about pills with Cindy. Yes. And was this a half pill or whole pill? This was half a pill. Okay. So did she give you one or some or part of a pill? Yes, she did. And how did that happen? She gave me half a pill. She told me it was either a narco or Darvocet, she called it, some kind of Valium. And once again, she told me she normally charges $3 to $4 a pill, but she wasn't going to this time. Okay, and then did she give you that item herself? Yes, she did. And did you seize and retain it? Yes. All right, and do you have any further discussion with her about obtaining a price? Yes, I did. And how did that commence? I informed her that I was looking for $20 worth of cocaine again and asked her if she had seen Ron. She told me that she had seen him earlier and that he did not have any, but he might be coming into the bar later. Okay, when you had this discussion, where are you in the bar? I'm sitting at the fixed bar. And where is Cindy? Behind the bar, working her, otherwise working in her capacity as a bartender? Yes.
Okay, switching to the test. Then I get to do 120.
This will be a 140 Q&A practice test. Plaintiff Attorney Mr. Morris, capital M-O-R-R-I-S. Defense Attorney Ms. M.S. period Antonio, capital A-N-T-O-N-I-O.
Patrick just redeemed hydrate.
Thanks for redeeming hydrate.
At that time, were you working for Ron Sanchez? Yes. Do you recall the month and year? Honestly, no, I don't. No, I don't. Does Max Drummond work for Ron Sanchez? No. Does he work for Harry's Restaurant? Used to, not anymore. Now I'm going to go back to my question I asked. Did you tell any of your coworkers while you were working for Ron Sanchez at his business whether you were injured? No. Is it your testimony here today that you did not sustain any other injuries while employed at Ron Sanchez? You're talking about a specific injury or continuous trauma injury. Any injuries, counselor. Counselor, you know that he has filed a continuous trauma claim for injuries. Counselor, I don't know what his injuries are. That's why we have a deposition for today. I don't know whether he had specific injury or cumulative injuries. That's the applicant's attorney's, responsibility to file the application. I'm asking him specifically if he's had any injuries while employed with the employer, Ron Sanchez. Well, I know, but for laymen, the specific injury is the only injury they can think of, and that's why we have provided you with application, of what he's claiming. Counselor, actually, I can't presume to know what the applicant claims because what the applicant applies for in the application for adjudication of claim is very different from deposition. I'm asking, and he informed me of his slip and fall on the mat, if he's had any other injuries while he was employed other than that injury that he has testified to today. So I'm going to ask Mr. Rios, other than the injury that you had with slipping on the mat, have you had any other injuries during your employment with Ron Sanchez other than the one that you discussed here with me today? No. Okay, thank you. Now, prior to working for Ron Sanchez, who did you work for? I didn't work for anybody. I had my own business. I was a gardener. I was what? Gardener. What was the name of your business? Sanchez Gardener. Did you register this business with the state of California? No. For how long did you have your business? From when to when? 3 years, 4 years. From which year to which year would that have been? From 2004 to 2007. So you were self-employed, is this correct? Yes. Did you employ any other people to work for you? No. Could you please give me a description of your job duties, what you did with your business as a gardener? To cut the grass and trim the bushes and to plant flowers. Did you use any equipment? Well, what you used to cut the lawn and to trim the trees. How many hours did you work per day as a gardener? 6 hours a day. Where did you work? What cities? Orange County. And how many days a week did you work? 4 days a week. Did you do any other type of employment while you had your own business as a gardener? No. About how many jobs would you do while working for yourself? 4 houses a day. And how were you paid? Some with checks, some cash. And did you ever injure yourself while you were self-employed as a gardener? Not that I can recall. And prior to your self-employment, strike that. About when did you stop working for yourself, or why did you stop your own business? The reason why I stopped doing it is because I was robbed twice and they stole all my equipment. Do you recall the month and year that you stopped working as a gardener? Honestly, no, I don't. And then prior to working in your own business, what did you do? I was a technician. Where? Worked for a communication company. What's the name of that company? It used to be called Adelphia Cable. Now it's called Time Warner. From when to when did you work for Adelphia Cable? 2001 to 2004. In what city? San Bernardino. What were your duties as a technician? I was an installer contractor. What did you install? Installing cable from the main power pole to the houses. Why did you stop working there? Because of the change to the new company. Did you quit or were you terminated? Yes. Did you ever have any injuries while you were working as a technician at Adelphia Cable? No. Okay, so you worked there from 2001 to 2004, according to your previous testimony, and then you indicated that you started working for yourself for Sanchez Gardner from 2008 to 2011. Does that sound about right? Yes. So there's a gap from 2005 to 2008.
Okay. Moving on to the 120. Oh. $120.
Welcome to drill practice.
This is a little low.
Getting our fingers warmed up with these words, and then we'll read some sentences that have these words in them. Okay? Ready? Here we go. Ago, into, judge, city, notice, period, happen, interest, sudden, customer, welcome, envelope, magazine, maximum, success, minimum, judgment, newspaper, thank you, succeed. All right, now we'll practice some sentences with these words in the sentences. Ready? Here we go. A minimum number of customers must be present. What is the maximum weight? That period in art really interests me. That is an interesting magazine. See whether your customer is interested. Thank you, but I do not want to go into the matter. A while ago, I became interested in the subject. There was a sudden storm. Come into the house and get out of the rain. The envelope is sealed with red sealing wax. The city of New York is in the state of New York. His good judgment led to his success. Unless you send it, the customer will pick up the package. The newspaper reported the election. We ran a successful advertising campaign in the magazine. What interest does the account pay? Why are you suddenly bringing it up again? The difficulties with their budgets. You should have succeeded a long time ago. The case was tried in the newspapers. Did you get the notices for the tax increases? Are you succeeding in balancing the budget? My judgment is that the people welcome you warmly. Interestingly enough, he showed interest in it a long time ago. John noticed the crack in the ceiling yesterday. Thank you for coming to the city. Be sure to put a period at the end of each sentence. Nothing succeeds like hard work. He will give notice soon unless there are some big changes. They needed customers for their magazines. He judges people quickly. Are we out of envelopes? The judge talked about the law.
Okay, you got 4 minutes left in this.
Of restaurants and their address and phone number. A little number practice. Ready? Here we go. The Cellar, 305 North Harbor Boulevard, Fullerton, California, 714-525-5682. Early Bird, 1000 East Bastoncherry Road, Fullerton, California, 714-529-4100. Hopscotch Tavern, 136 East Commonwealth Avenue, Fullerton, California, 714-871-2222. The Public House, 138 West Commonwealth Avenue, Fullerton, California, 714-870-0039. Summit House, 2000 East Bastoncherry Road, Fullerton, California, 714111. And next, we'll try some things to be happy about. Ready? Here we go. Rosebuds. A sharp pencil. A special moment in time. Collecting baseball cards. Dusk lingering with long light on the hilltops. The great composers. Optimism leading to happiness and enthusiasm. Catfish and hush puppies. Eating all the raw onions you want with your hamburger. Alright, that will conclude our drill practice.
Onion. I had the ready. Enthusiasm. Boom. Boom. Okay, moving on to the jury charge and literary.
Welcome to literary and jury charge practice. We'll start out with some literary material. This is called Building Trust. After a natural disaster, beware of unscrupulous contractors. And we had actually started this before, so we will just continue on where we left off.
Nice spawns.
Here we go.
vTuber.
And insist upon seeing the contractor's license and proof of insurance. The contractor should have both general liability and workers' compensation coverage. Get a written estimate and a signed final contract. Both should specify in detail the work that will be done and the materials that will be used. They should also provide a breakdown of the prices for labor and materials. Be smart about payment. It's reasonable for a contractor to request a down payment for materials, but never put down a large amount until the contractor arrives on site with the materials to start the job. In California, the State License Board limits down payments to 10% of the total home improvement contract price, or $1,000,
Thanks.
whichever is less. Paying by credit card could give you some options should you need to stop or contest payment. And by all means, do not pay the contractor in full until the repairs are completed to your satisfaction. Don't hand over money to people claiming to work for government agencies. Legitimate state and federal workers should never ask you directly for money as compensation for performing inspections or filling out forms. And if you're told that you can get your insurance settlement or disaster relief funds faster if you pay a fee, don't believe it. No one on the up and up can accelerate the process. Sign a contract without reading it thoroughly. Make sure the agreement includes a dollar figure and that your insurer is okay with the estimate. Give your social security number to a contractor. No one needs it except the government agency that's providing your disaster relief funds. You'll only need to provide it once when you first register with the agency handling the funds. Right, let's practice some jury charge.
Jury charge.
Ready? Here we go. You are the sole judges of whether a witness is to be believed and of the weight to be given a witness's testimony. There are no hard and fast rules to guide you in this respect. In determining believability and weight of testimony, you may take into consideration the witness's interest or lack of interest in the outcome of the case, relationship to the parties, ability and opportunity to know, remember, and relate the facts, manner, age, and experience, frankness and sincerity, or lack thereof, reasonableness or unreasonableness of their testimony in the light of all the other evidence in the case, any impeachment of the witness's testimony, and any other factors that bear on believability and weight. You should rely in the last analysis upon your own experience, good judgment, and common sense. A witness who has special training, education, or experience in a particular science, occupation, or calling is allowed to express an opinion as to certain facts. In determining the believability and the weight to be given such opinion evidence, you may consider, among other things, the education, training, experience, knowledge, and ability of the witness, the reasons given for the opinion, the sources of the information, and the factors previously given for evaluating the testimony of a witness. Such opinion evidence is entitled to neither more nor less consideration by you than any other evidence. You are to judge its believability and weight in the same manner as you will do for evaluation of other testimony. In deciding the believability and weight to be given the testimony of a witness, you may consider evidence of a statement by or conduct of the witness on some prior occasion which is inconsistent with present testimony. Evidence of any prior inconsistent statement should be considered only for the purpose of testing the believability and weight of the witness's testimony. In the case of defendant, however, evidence of any statement which he may have made may be considered by you for all purposes. The state must convince you by evidence beyond a reasonable doubt that the defendant is guilty of the crime charged. The defendant has no obligation to prove innocence. The defendant has the right not to testify. This right is guaranteed by the federal and state constitutions. You should not draw any inference from the fact that the defendant has not testified in this case. In this case, the defendant has been charged with multiple offenses. You should consider each offense and the evidence pertaining to it separately. The fact that you may find defendant guilty or not guilty as to one of the charged offenses should not control your verdict as to any other offense. During trial, you have listened to audio recordings. Because of the nature and quality of the recordings, portions of the recordings may have been difficult to hear or understand. As a result, transcripts of the recordings were provided to you to assist you in listening to the recording and were collected from you at the conclusion of the playing of the recording. If there is any difference between what you heard in the recording and what you read in the transcript, then you must rely on what you heard, not what you read. The transcript is not to control, rather the recording which you heard is to control. The transcript will not be available to you during your deliberations. The parties have introduced demonstrative exhibits in the form of charts, summaries, or calculations. This information is presented to assist you as an aid in your understanding of witnesses' testimony here in court.
Okay.
Rest your hands for a moment. You can probably find your local farmer's market, but would you know what to do if confronted with an actual vegetable patch? Scotty Jones, co-owner of Leaping Lamb Farm in Alessa, Oregon, says most people don't. I've asked guests to go out to the garden and pick something for dinner, and then realized that I needed to go with them because they didn't know what to do, Jones says. Such farm-to-table experiences are a growing trend among working farms, with many opening their doors to overnight guests. Rates run about $125 per night. Following are a few reasons to visit a farm. Taste something fresh. The biggest surprise out here for people is the flavor of fresh eggs, and I love seeing their reactions, says Jones, whose 64-acre sheep farm includes vegetable gardens, orchards, and chickens. Many farm stay farms give guests access to the garden's kitchen and farm-cooked meals. Learn more about the food you eat. Milk a goat, then make some cheese at the tiny Mariposa Creamery in the foothills northeast of Los Angeles. The Institute of Domestic Technology offers a bushel of food crafting classes there, and the Milk Talk from Mariposa co-founder Gloria Putnam will give you a new view of dairy products. Appreciate farmers. Watch or help with the harvest at Humble Hill Farm outside Ithaca, New York. Then follow the goods to market. It's definitely not an easy profession, says co-owner Courtney Sullivan. It's important to tell the story of the people who choose to dedicate their lives so that you can have healthy organic food. Support small farms. When we moved here, we didn't really understand the economics of small farms, Jones says. She opened Leaping Lamb to guests to help pay the bills and launched the Farm Stay US website to connect host farms with vacationers. Farm Stay fees are helping Putnam and her partner expand Mariposa Creamery. Accommodations range from tents to guest cottages to Mariposa's little Airstream Bambi. Guests can help with farm chores or just soak up the peace and quiet. It's all part of the farm stay experience and preserving farming for future generations.
My appeal for the TikTok restriction has been going on for almost an hour. I'm probably not going to get the restriction lifted.
All right, we'll get back to some jury charge practice. Ready? Here we go. If the chart, summary, or calculations are not consistent
Calculation.
with chart, summary, or calculations are not consistent with the facts or figures shown by the evidence in this case as you find them, you should disregard the chart, summary, or calculation and determine the facts from the underlying evidence. Additionally,
It's happening to someone else you're watching? Damn.
because from the underlying evidence. Additionally, because the charts, summaries, or calculations are based on the testimony, you should therefore give them only such weight as you think the underlying material deserves. The statutes of Minnesota provide that whoever with premeditation and with the intent to effect the death of the person causes the death of a human being is guilty of murder in the first degree. The elements of murder in the first degree are: first, the death of Nicholas Brady must be proven. Second, the defendant caused the death of Nicholas Brady. Third, the defendant acted with the intent to kill Nicholas Brady. In order to have had an intent to kill, the defendant must have acted with purpose of causing death, or the defendant must have believed that the act would have that result. Fourth, the defendant acted with premeditation. Premeditation means that the defendant considered, planned, prepared for, or determined to commit the act before the defendant committed it. Premeditation, being a process of the mind, is wholly subjective and hence not always susceptible to proof by direct evidence. It may be inferred from all the circumstances surrounding the event. It is not necessary that premeditation exist for any specific length of time. A premeditated decision to kill may be reached in a short period of time. However, an unconsidered or rash impulse, even though it includes an intent to kill, is not premeditated. Fifth, the Defendant's Act took place on or about November 22, 2012 in Morrison County. If you find that each of these elements has been proven beyond a reasonable doubt, the defendant is guilty of murder in the first degree. If you find that any element has not been proven beyond a reasonable doubt, the defendant is not guilty of murder in the first degree. The statutes of Minnesota provide that whoever with premeditation and with the intent to effect the death of the person causes the death of a human being is guilty of murder in the first degree. Second, the defendant caused the death of Hale Kiffer. Third, the defendant acted with the intent to kill Hale Kiffer. In order to have had an intent to kill, the defendant must have acted with purpose of causing death, or the defendant must have believed that the act would have that result. Fourth, the defendant acted with premeditation. Premeditation means that the defendant considered, planned, prepared for, or determined to commit the act before the defendant committed it. Premeditation, being a process of the mind, is wholly subjective and hence not always susceptible to proof by direct evidence. It may be inferred from all the circumstances surrounding the event. It is not necessary that premeditation exist for any specific length of time. A premeditated decision to kill may be reached in a short period of time. However, an unconsidered or rash impulse, even though it includes an intent to kill, is not premeditated. All right, we will stop there.
Ah, okay. Okay, we're going to Q&A now.
Welcome to Q&A practice. We'll start out with defense attorney. Ready? Here we go. And do you see what the length of that phone call is? Yes. And that's 18 seconds. According to the phone, yes. And that's an extraction, meaning that's information taken from the phone physically itself. Right, it's a forensic report generated from the actual hardware, the actual phone, mobile phone itself. So that's instead of 30 seconds that you got from the cell tower records, it's 18 seconds for the 251 call, right? I thought it was 18 or 19. Oh, 251. Yes, 251, not 249. Yes, that's a different time. And these are records correct. Objection, Your Honor, there's no foundation that this witness has even seen this. Use the phone number. Well, it's an extraction. The government, I hope, would be aware of this. It's an extraction from Tam's phone. I don't have the phone number. It's not toll records. It's an extraction done by the government. Go ahead, proceed. Just, Your Honor, this witness has analyzed phone records, not data extracted from a phone. I understand. Go ahead. So that was the 251 call, right? Right. And that was outgoing, right? Just, I could scroll back up if you want to look at it again. Yeah, according to whatever system they used here, Celebrate, or whatever extraction they used. And there's an earlier call, 6:49 UTC, which would be 2:49 p.m. Boston time, right? That's correct, yes. And that's shown as incoming, right? Right, yes. From 9151, from 9151, correct? That's correct, yes. And that would be Jahar's phone, right? Yes. And that shows a duration of 8 seconds. That's correct, yes. And so we've got an 8-second call at 2:49, or 8-second conversation, I guess, right? At 2:49. I don't know how Celebrate or whatever forensic utility was used. I don't know how they determine the duration, if it's the actual, if the call's connected, if it's the conversation, or if it's when the call comes in. I don't know how this system works or the extraction software works, but just to clarify, it's not inconsistent.
Thank you.
That the phone would reflect an 8-second call when the cell tower data reflects a 19-second call. Objection, Your Honor, overruled. You may answer it. Like I said, I don't know much about Celebrate other than how to operate it. I don't know the detail ins and outs that it pulls from the call logs. I mean, this is like from a call log versus network resources that are used in the network. So you're kind of comparing, although it's talking about the same information, you're kind of comparing two different entities or two different things. I guess really I'm just asking, the fact that one shows a shorter time period it's not inconsistent with the fact that the cell tower reflects a longer time because it includes the connection time, right? I don't think that's unusual, but like, once again, I don't know how it determines this duration or time. I assume it's the call. It's like when the actual call is occurring. But what happens when a call's missed? I don't know the answer to that. So whether you say it's inconsistent or consistent, I don't know the answer to that because I'm not familiar enough with what they're extracting out of the actual mobile phone itself. I deal with more the networks. I understand, thank you, but the showing you the slide that I think is number 9, which is the, well, let's go to number 8, which is the 249 call, I think, right? And could we have that on the screen, please? That shows, I'm sorry, it's the 251 call, but let's just stay there for a second. It shows for one, that's just one phone call, even though there's 2 times shown, correct? Yes, they're calling each other, so it's in respect to two different phones. So we received call detail records for one phone number and call details for another phone number. I'm showing them both on the screen in respect to each of those call detail records, but yes, the two phones are calling each other. And the 251 call we know was a call from Tam to Jahar, right? Yes. And one of them says 1451.18. The other one shows 1451.19. Is that because the cell data for each of them would be different? Well, yeah, it's in respect to that phone itself, right? But again, the 1451.19 is not the time that in this instance Jahar picked up the phone and started talking. Well, it's the instant in which his phone responded to the page. So when a phone's incoming, like I said, the network has to generally or know the general area where you are. So if I have an incoming call, the area where I am, a page signal would go out. When that page signal goes out, it's kind of like going back to the teacher-student relationship. The teacher's calling my name. As the mobile, I raise my hand. The teacher calls on me and says, "Hey, you have a call. Go over here and you can complete your call." That's when those resources are granted, that's when the record is generated and that timestamp is generated. Okay, but not when the conversation necessarily began, right? Not when I hit the green button, but like I'm getting caller ID, my phone is ringing. That's typically when you're starting to look for those resources. And right before I hit the green button, that's when you know I'm going to actually connect and we can communicate with each other. And the records or the maps and diagrams that you showed us for days after April 15th were not necessarily calls between the brothers. Is that right? Right. There are some that are between them, but I think the majority of them, or the bulk of the calls that are displayed, are not between the two. So the purpose of that was just to show where each phone was located at those particular times, right? The general area, yes, and in order to put that information together, you reviewed, in this case, AT&T records going back from April 2014, April 2013, going back into December of 2012, right? They continued on beyond that, okay, but you reviewed all of them, is that right? I had them on my system, like there were several calls, yes. I mean, when we were in the investigation, we were trying to come up with leads, yes. We did review in bulk, like who they're contacting, what phone numbers they're contacting, but for the purposes of this presentation, I only looked at the dates and times that I have displayed. All right, we will stop.
Oh, okay. I did a lot better on the Q&A for 120 instead of 140 and 160. Let's try the test.
This is a 120 Q&A practice test. Plaintiff Attorney, Mr. Trainer, capital TRAINER.
You didn't like that witness?
off, Patrick. Just redeemed yeehaw.
Thank you for redeeming yeehaw. I'm almost done with the stream. Might be good to take a little break. I mean, I'm only gonna be doing the test. The test is always 5 minutes long. Just doing some stretching. Disguises. Testing time indeed. Okay.
Defense Attorney, Ms. MS period, Morris, capital M-O-R-R-I-S.
Oh, an ad break is starting soon.
And we'll start with plaintiff attorney. Ready? Here we go. Good morning, Ms. Williams. Good morning. The testimony that you gave this morning included the fact that when you were in a vehicle with your uncle and your stepfather, yes, you noticed some bags on the floor behind the front seat. Is that correct? Yes. And I believe you said that they were 3 bags and they appeared to be with a Walmart logo on them. Yes. Okay, now were those bags shut in any way? Were they tied or anything like that? Yes. And I'm assuming these were plastic bags? Yes. The bags themselves, were you able to see?
Okay, I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back.
Through those, and I'm assuming these were plastic bags. Yes, the bags themselves. Were you able to see through those bags? Yes. Okay, when you were looking and attempting to see through the bags, whenever that was, were you able to see what was in the bags? I could see a Hanes logo through the bag. One of the bags, correct. What about bag number 2? No. Bag number 3? No. Okay, and I believe that you said that you took those bags and delivered them to the sheriff's department. Yes. At some point, did you open those bags? No. So the 3 bags that you saw there, you know that there was a Hanes logo in one. You're not sure what was in the others, and you deposited those with the sheriff. Yes. I believe that you said that you were picked up at the Long Beach airport again by your uncle and your stepfather. Is that correct? Yes, the defendant and my uncle. And do you prefer that I not say stepfather? Please just the defendant, because I'm trying to keep my emotions under tap, please. I'd be happy to do that, and I apologize. If I could just look at you when I talk to you. Objection, Your Honor. Move to strike the response. Non-responsive. I'm sorry. It's stricken. Ms. Williams, starting over, I believe that you said that my client and Mr. Maxey, that's your uncle, correct? Yes, sir. Picked you up at the airport? Yes, sir. And at that point you drove to the Riverside Sheriff's office? Yes, sir. Had you ever been in that office before? Yes, sir. Okay, when you entered the office, I believe that you said that there was a secretary or a clerk there that knew my client? Yes. What portion of the sheriff's department building was this? This was on the bottom floor during the conversation waiting area. It's like a foyer. Yes, yes. All right, from where she was sitting and what she was doing, did you understand what her job was? Not sitting. We were standing, and yes, I was told by the defendant that she was a secretary for the sheriff's. I see. And at that point when you said that you heard something, who else was present? My Uncle Maxey, the defendant, and the secretary. Just the 4 of you? That is correct. How big is this room that you are talking about? It's a fairly large room. It's a large entryway, and it's big. Using this courtroom as an example, would it be the size of this courtroom? From the back of the back wall, the juror area right here, about half the size. About half the size of this courtroom? Yes, sir. Thank you. When this conversation took place, was this immediately upon entering that area, or had you been there for a while talking? For a while, about 10-15 minutes, when he said that he knew a person working there. I remember that you said this morning as you were testifying that you urged the sheriff's department to check the chicken coop, right? I did.
All right, that's the end of the test. Move this to the drill so I can do this tomorrow. Darksiders 2 time. Hope you're having fun. Hey friend, I'm this evening's train sitter. Hi Ice Queen, can you DM me? Alright, um, so how's everyone doing? We have about 5 to 10 minutes left. That's not enough time to do the jury charge in literary or do Q&A. We haven't raised anything, but that's okay. I raised $95 the past 2 weeks, so that's good. Tomorrow I play Rito Remastered. I don't quite remember where I left off. The demon had taken possession of the high schooler we were looking for. I forget her name. Something Daidoji. I'll have to like refresh my memory by looking through the stream again. I'm gonna remake my schedule so I'm not playing Metaphor back to back. So on Friday it'll be Rido, on Saturday it'll be Silk Song, and then Sunday it'll be Metaphor. And then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday it'll be Rido, Silk Song, and then Metaphor again. I don't like playing games back to back. It's a little boring for me when I do that. And I don't want my streams to become boring for me, so. Okay, we have about a minute left. Thank you everyone who stuck around for so long. We have 16 viewers. Hello, Patrick. How's Darksiders 2 come along? Hi, Disgrace. Almost ready to raid out, I believe. Okay. See y'all. Ready to raid out. I believe the person I'm raiding out to is Jasmine Can't Play. There's the raid message. See y'all tomorrow for Rido Remastered. Goodbye. That's not the right thing. It's supposed to say Rido Remastered. Oops. Sometimes I forget to change things out.